Here's the truth most men never hear. A woman never regrets losing you when you're trying to prove your worth. She regrets losing you when you finally realize your worth and stop trying. That's when everything changes. See, women don't just wake up one day and regret losing a man because he begged, chased, or explained himself. They regret it when that man goes quiet, when he stops explaining, stops checking in, stops reacting, and starts evolving. That silence, that shift, is what hits her deeper than any message or emotional plea ever could. The reason this topic matters is simple. Too many men give their power away after a breakup. They start obsessing, questioning, and overanalyzing while she's out testing her freedom. And in doing so, they forget something critical. Regret isn't created by words. It's created by absence and growth. A woman feels regret not when you chase her, but when she realizes she lost access to the version of you she once took for granted. That's what wakes her up. That's what makes her rethink her choices. And that's exactly what this video will teach you. Not how to manipulate her emotions, but how to build your presence in a way that naturally triggers her to feel your absence. Now, before we get into it, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, this is where we talk about real psychology, not sugar-coated advice. I speak directly to men about how women think, what truly creates attraction, and how to regain your strength after losing it. Because here's the thing, you can't make a woman regret losing you by focusing on her. You do it by shifting the energy back to you. When your focus changes from trying to get her back to becoming someone she can't forget, everything starts to turn around. So, in this video, we're breaking down how to make her truly regret losing you. Not through revenge, not through pride, but through transformation. Because the deepest regret a woman can feel is realizing she lost a man who actually leveled up without her. 1. Stop chasing her. Let silence speak. Louder stop chasing her. Let silence speak louder. The first step in making a woman regret losing you isn't about saying the right thing. It's about saying nothing at all. Silence is more powerful than any speech, and most men underestimate it because it doesn't feel like they're doing anything. But in reality, silence is a move, a strong one. When you stop chasing her, you immediately shift the energy dynamic. See, when a woman leaves, she often expects you to react, to text, to call, to plead your case. She expects you to fight for her attention because that's what confirms her importance in your world. The moment you don't do that, she feels something she didn't expect. Uncertainty, and uncertainty is what makes her start thinking. Imagine this. She ends things, and for the first week or two she's confident. She believes you'll reach out, you'll check her stories, you'll ask mutual friends about her. But when you go quiet, completely quiet, it creates confusion. She starts wondering, did he move on that fast? Or was I not as important as I thought? That confusion begins to crack her emotional certainty, and that's when regret starts creeping in. Men who chase after being left lose power without realizing it. Every message that says, I miss you, or can we talk, only reminds her she's still in control. But when you go silent, she no longer knows where she stands. That mystery makes her think about you in ways your words never could. Silence also gives you something even more valuable. Time. Time to regain emotional control. Rebuild your confidence and shift from desperation to direction. Because when you stop chasing her, you stop feeding her ego and start feeding your strength. Rebuild your image without announcing it too. Rebuild your image without announcing it. Here's something a lot of men get wrong after a breakup. They want to prove something. They hit the gym, post motivational quotes, take selfies looking unbothered, and try to show the world how great they're doing without her. But here's the thing. The moment you start doing things for her to see, you've already lost your power. Real change doesn't need an announcement. Real confidence doesn't need validation. The man who truly rebuilds himself does it in silence. He doesn't tell anyone what he's doing. He just becomes different. When a woman walks away, she's often confident. You'll stay stuck on her. She expects you to try to get her attention. So when you don't, it gets her thinking. When she doesn't see you posting about your pain. When she doesn't hear from you. When she can't figure out what's going on in your life. That's when her mind starts working overtime. That mystery is powerful. Women are emotional creatures, but they're also curious. If she knows you're hurting, she feels in control. But if she doesn't know what's going on with you, that control slips away. She starts wondering, did he move on? Is he happier now? Did he finally realize his worth? And that uncertainty creates a quiet tension that slowly grows into regret. But let's be clear, rebuilding your image isn't just about looks. It's about your energy. Start working out, not to post pictures, but to get your confidence back. Clean up your style. Fix your posture. Focus on your goals, your money, your mindset. Upgrade your circle. Rebuild your image from the inside out. Because when you glow up insolence, people feel it before they see it. You'll walk differently, talk differently, and carry yourself with a calm confidence that no post or quote could ever match. That's what makes women stop and think. The power of emotional detachment. Winning without playing 3. The power of emotional detachment. Winning without playing games. One of the biggest mistakes men make after a woman leaves is trying to make her regret it by pretending they've moved on. They post pictures to get her attention, act like they're happy, or try to make her jealous. But here's the truth. A woman can sense when you're faking it. She can feel when your energy still revolves around her. And that's not power. That's still emotional dependency disguised as confidence. Real power comes from emotional detachment. That doesn't mean you stop caring altogether. It means you stop letting your emotions control your actions. You stop living to prove something to her and start living to elevate yourself. When you reach this level, your calmness becomes your strength. You stop reacting, stop explaining, stop chasing. And ironically, that's what gets her attention the most. Imagine this. She checks your social media out of curiosity and sees that you're doing well. Not flaunting, not trying too hard, just genuinely moving forward. You're in the gym. You're focused on your work. You look centered. That quiet confidence speaks louder than any post meant to show her what she's missing. Because it's not about making noise. It's about your silence having weight. Women regret losing men who master their emotions. Because while most guys spiral after a breakup, the man who stays calm stands out. He becomes the one she can't read anymore. And women hate not being able to read a man they once understood. That uncertainty makes her curious. And curiosity is the spark that reignites attraction. Here's where many men go wrong. They think detachment means cutting her off coldly or acting like she never mattered. True detachment means you're at peace with what happened. You're not bitter. You're not resentful. And you're not seeking revenge. You've accepted the loss and turned it into fuel for growth. When she sees that, it challenges her ego because deep down she expected you to be broken without her. She thought you'd chase, but instead she sees you thriving, not in a showy way, but in a grounded, masculine way. That's when regret hits her hardest. Not because she lost control over you, but because she realizes you didn't need her to become level up your life like you were never hurt better. 4. Level up your life like you were never hurt. One of the most powerful things you can do after a woman leaves you is to level up like nothing ever broke you. Not out of pride, not to get her attention, but because pain, when used right, can turn into fuel. And that's exactly what most men never realize. Heartbreak isn't meant to destroy you, it's meant to rebuild. You see, when a woman leaves, your first instinct is usually to sit in the pain. You replay the memories, analyze what went wrong, and sometimes even lose yourself in that storm. But if you stay there too long, you become stuck in her story instead of writing your own. The truth is, the best comeback isn't about showing her you're fine. It's about actually being fine. You level up by taking all that emotional energy and redirecting it into something productive. Hit the gym like your life depends on it. Not to impress her, but to discipline your mind. Build your finances. Get sharper mentally. Develop new skills. Reconnect with your ambition. Because when a man rebuilds from pain, he becomes unstoppable. And here's where most men slip. They make improvement look like an act of desperation. They post their progress. They try to prove they've changed. They overcompensate. But real power doesn't perform. Real power moves quietly with intention. When you level up like you were never hurt, you stop carrying emotional baggage into your growth. You're no longer reacting. You're evolving. Think about it. If she sees you thriving, not bitter, not cold, but peaceful and focused, it makes her rethink everything. Women don't regret losing angry men. They regret losing calm, grounded men who outgrew their pain. That's when she starts realizing you never needed her to find your strength. You just needed space to see it clearly. So, make every day a statement, not to her, but to yourself. Wake up earlier. Set goals. Keep your word to yourself. Take care of your body and your peace. Because when you live like nothing broke you, your energy changes. You stop chasing closure, and you start living with purpose. And Therany, the moment you reach that state of quiet strength, when she sees the glow, the focus, the peace, that's when the regret hits her hardest. Because while she was busy trying to find herself, you were busy becoming the demon she can't stop thinking about. 5. The power of indifference. Why it drives her crazy. The power of indifference. Why? It drives her crazy. Indifference is misunderstood. People hear the word and think cold or mean. That's not what we're talking about. The kind of indifference that works is calm, composed detachment, a peaceful refusal to let her emotional drama steer your life. And when you get this right, it's one of the fastest ways to make a woman genuinely regret losing you. Here's the logic. Most breakups create a predictable script. She expects a reaction. Texts, calls, emotional appeals, those reactions confirm her power in the relationship. Indifference breaks that script. It doesn't scream, "I don't care." It quietly says, "I care about myself more than I care about proving anything to you." That subtle shift hits harder than any dramatic move. Indifference is effective because it removes validation. People crave what confirms their value. When you stop providing that automatic validation, she has to face how much of her identity was tied to your attention. That can lead to real reflection. It can also create discomfort, and discomfort can turn into clarity. She either recognizes what she lost, or she moves on and finds out she actually prefers the calmer life without you. Either way, you win because you stop living on her emotional terms. Important distinction. Genuine indifference comes from strength, not spite. It's not about playing games to punish her. It's about choosing peace over panic. You don't post passive-aggressive lines on social media. You don't try to make her jealous. And you don't invent drama. You simply live your life with purpose and refuse to be dragged into chaotic emotional cycles. Picture this. You two split. For weeks, she expects the usual, the messages, the apologies, the attempts to win her back. Instead, you go quiet. You don't comment on her posts. You don't react to mutual friends' updates. You focus on a few clear things. The gym, a project you care about, and rebuilding your routine. One evening, she checks her phone and sees you posted a photo of a new certification or a travel shot. No caption, no drama. It's small, but it communicates a lot. You're moving forward. You're not stuck, and you didn't build your life around proving anything to her. That image nags at her mind more than any angry rant ever could. Use indifference to reclaim your power, not to manipulate. Stay grounded. Answer only when it serves you. Keep conversations short if you choose to engage. And don't broadcast your emotional state. Let curiosity and genuine improvement do the work. When you're truly indifferent in a peaceful, stoic way, she can't help but notice the difference between the man she thought she had and the man you've become. 6. When she comes back curious. Don't rush to respond curious. Don't rush to respond. If you've done everything right up to this point, stayed silent, leveled up, rebuilt yourself and moved on with peace, something interesting starts to happen. She gets curious. Maybe she texts you out of nowhere, likes one of your posts, or asks a mutual friend how you've been. That curiosity is the first sign that the emotional shift has begun. But this is also the most dangerous moment because most men blow it right here. See, when a woman comes back curious, she's not always coming back for you. Sometimes she's coming back for control. She wants to see if you're still emotionally available. If you respond too fast, too eagerly, or with too much emotion, she gets her answer, and just like that, you've given her the power back. The mystery that made her wonder disappears. Here's the truth. The first message, call, or hey stranger, isn't always a sign she's ready to make things right. It's often a test. She wants to see if she still matters. That's why your reaction matters more than your response. Stay calm, stay composed. Don't ignore her to play games. Just don't jump at the bait. Take your time, hours, even days before you reply, because your delay sends a louder message than any words could. You're no longer emotionally tied to her. When you finally do respond, keep it simple, short, polite, but emotionally neutral. Don't bring up the past. Don't try to sound impressive. Don't ask questions that reopen old wounds. The goal isn't to make her chase. It's to show that you've outgrown the version of yourself that needed her attention. You're not cold. You're just at peace. And here's what usually happens next. Your calm tone throws her off. She expected either anger or excitement. Instead, she finds emotional control. That's rare, and it's deeply attractive. It makes her question whether she ever really knew you. She'll start to replay everything in her mind. Did he really move on? Did I mess up? Did I lose the only guy who actually cared about me? You're not doing this to punish her. You're doing it because your focus is no longer on proving your value. It's on living it. That shift is everything. 7. Become the man she can't replace, not the one she remembers. The man she can't replace, not the one she remembers. When a woman comes back, she's not just revisiting their relationship. She's revisiting who you are. She's comparing the man she once knew to the man standing in front of her now. And this is where most men mess up. They try to recreate the past instead of rewriting the story. You can't win her back by being the same man she left. That version of you wasn't enough to keep her interested or emotionally fulfilled. So if she comes back and finds that same energy, that same routine, that same emotional dynamic, she'll slip right back into old habits and eventually she'll leave again. The power move is to become the man she can't replace. The one who evolved while she was gone, the one who built more confidence, more purpose, more direction. A man who stopped waiting for closure or validation and started living in his masculine frame again. Calm, grounded, and certain of his value. When she sees that version of you, it hits differently because she remembers the man she left, but she's drawn to the man you've become. She can't control him the same way. She can't predict his emotions, and she can't manipulate him with attention or affection because he's not desperate for it anymore. This shift puts you back in control of the dynamic. You're no longer reacting to her. She's reacting to you. You're no longer trying to prove you've changed. You are the change. Your energy, your presence, your silence. It all communicates power. So when she returns, don't rush to fall back into what was. Make her meet you where you are now. Make her earn a place in this new chapter. Because the goal isn't to remind her of who you were. It's to make her realize she'll never find another man like who you've become. When a woman conclusion comes back after walking away, it's not always about love. Sometimes it's about curiosity, ego, or fear of losing her hold on you. That's why your power isn't in taking her back too easily. It's in showing her that her absence made you stronger, not weaker. You see, women test men's emotional stability through their actions. When she left, she wanted to see how you'd respond, if you'd chase, beg, or crumble. But when she returns and finds a man who didn't fall apart, who grew colder, sharper, and more focused, that changes everything. It flips the dynamic. Now she's the one uncertain. She's the one who feels thelos. And that's where your leverage lies. Not in playing games, but in mastering your self-control. Let her see that her departure didn't define you. Let your silence speak louder than your desire. Let your presence remind her that walking away from you was her biggest mistake, because the man who remains, grounded when a woman leaves and indifferent when she returns, becomes unforgettable. So don't be the man waiting to be chosen again. Be the man she wishes she never lost.